Okay, folks, buckle up because tonight we are going deep
Deep?
into the murky and mysterious world of Victorian England, and
Oh,
we're talking about a very special form of entertainment.
right.
We are going to be taking a deep dive into penny dreadfuls. Now,
Yes.
you know,
Penny Dreadfuls. These were the serialized Gothic horror stories that captivated the working class in the 1800s,
absolutely
sold for a mere penny.
a penny apiece.
And these stores packed punch. And you know what's fascinating to me is just how much these sensational tales
Yeah,
from way back when have actually shaped modern horror as we know it.
it's incredible, isn't it?
It really
Like you
is.
think about, those themes, the chills, the kind of the dark side of humanity,
Yeah.
that was all there.
It's like the seeds were planted way back then.
Yeah, and what's interesting is that Penny Dreadfuls, they really brought the thrills and chills of Gothic literature to a whole new audience.
It wasn't, your fancy bound novels for the upper class.
Right.
This was accessible,
Uh,
weekly installments printed on cheap paper.
like a pulp.
Exactly. And devoured by the working class.
Yeah, for sure. And thinking about that, like there were other forms of cheap literature at the time,
No. Yeah.
right? So what made Penny Dreadfuls stand out?
Well, I mean,
Was it
that-
just the spooky stuff, or was there something more?
yeah, I mean, there's definitely the spooky stuff. I mean, they were absolutely packed with melodrama and grotesque imagery, and you can't forget those irresistible cliffhanger endings.
Oh yeah, gotta have the
Oh,
cliffhanger.
absolutely. It kept people coming back for more week after week.
For sure, for sure. But I think there's something else there too, right?
Yeah.
That's not just the horror and the darkness.
Hmm.
It feels like there was something about these stories that really connected with people on a deeper level.
Absolutely. I think the key was how they democratized Gothic literature. They took those classic Gothic themes, the decay, the monstrosity, the moral transgression.
Yeah, all the good stuff.
Yeah, all the good stuff. And they amplified them and they made them thrilling and strangely relatable to everyday people.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, instead of crumbling castles and brooding aristocrats, you had stories set in the dark alleys of London,
Exact.
featuring characters the working class folks could actually see themselves in.
Exact. Think about Varney the vampire.
Oh yeah.
He wasn't some, distant ethereal figure. He walked among ordinary people,
Right.
preying on their fears, or take the string of pearls.
Okay, yeah.
The story that gave us the infamous Sweeney Todd,
Sweeney Todd.
right? A barber, a seemingly everyday figure transformed into this monstrous killer.
Yeah, it's like the fear of the unknown
Right.
right there in your neighborhood.
Exactly. And it played on the very real anxieties of the time, the fear of the unknown lurking beneath the surface of everyday life.
It's funny because you say that and it's like that fear of the unknown, of things lurking beneath the surface, that's still a huge part of horror today, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely.
Like we're still drawn to those stories.
Penny Dreadfuls tapped into those primal fears that transcend time, But they also reflected the specific anxieties of Victorian society, rapid industrialization, social upheaval, a fascination with the dark side of human nature.
Yeah. It was a time of great change and turmoil.
Exactly. And those anxieties found an outlet in these stories. And I think that's part of what ensures the enduring appeal of the Gothic genre.
Yeah, I mean, you can't deny it's still going strong today. And
Yeah.
it's amazing to think about how these stories, printed on cheap paper, sold for a penny,
Yeah,
they had such a lasting impact.
it's true.
I mean, we can trace a direct line from penny dreadfuls to modern horror,
Oh, yeah.
serialized fiction, even the way we consume stories in bite-sized pieces through streaming services.
Absolutely. It's incredible. And it's not just about cheap thrills. This popularity had a profound effect on the development of storytelling itself.
Really?
Yeah, the serialized format forced writers to be incredibly inventive.
Oh, yeah.
They had to constantly up the ante, introduce new twists and turns, keep readers on the edge of their seats week after week.
So, like, in a way, those constraints actually fueled creativity. They
Exactly.
had to become masters of suspense and pacing.
Exactly. They had to hook you with that first penny and keep you coming back for more.
For sure.
And those techniques, the cliffhangers, the shocking reveals, the relentless pacing, they're still the backbone of so much of the horror and suspense we enjoy today.
It's true, and it makes you wonder, what are the modern-day equivalents of penny dreadfuls?
Hmm.
I mean, what do we consume now that reflects our anxieties and fascinations in a similar way?
That's a good question.
What do you think?
It is a really good question. I think it's something worth pondering. What are those forms of entertainment that grab us in the same way that, really speak to our deepest fears and anxieties? I don't know. I don't have an answer for you, but I think it's a fascinating thing to think about.
Yeah, it is. It really is. And maybe that's something that our listeners can think about
Yeah,
and let us know what they think.
I'd love to hear it.
All right. Well, that's going to do it for this deep dive into penny dreadfuls.
Fascinating stuff.
Yeah, it really is. We've journeyed back to Victorian England, explored the dark alleys, and encountered some of the most iconic figures in horror.
And hopefully we've given everyone something to think about.
Absolutely. Until next time, stay curious and keep exploring.
And don't forget to keep the lights on.
Good advice. Good advice.